Today we're going to demonstrate how butter can be easily made, even if you don't have a butter churn. And I realize that making butter, people always connect it to having some type of animal that produces milk, whether a cow or a goat. We raise milk goats. Right now our goats are totally dry, and we've been purchasing milk from a local dairy. We feel better about getting it from our area. Milk companies, even the organic milk companies, ship in from 26 different states. That's a large area of production. We have an organic dairy that we have to travel an hour to get our milk, but their dairy's only, we actually get it from a store that they sell it at, but their dairy itself is less than 2 hours from us. So when it comes to butter also, if you're using real butter, you can buy the butter from the store for $4 a pound, but we buy organic if we're not making our own, because we do not want what the USDA, the United States government, allows for many dairy producers to put in their milk, which is RBGH. It's a growth hormone, and there's many health-related issues connected to that. So we go through the process of making our butter from this particular dairy's cream. We've made it from our goat's cream before when our goats are milking. It's a little bit harder to do as goat milk is naturally homogenized, and it takes longer to get enough cream if you don't have a cream separator. The cream here, we've let it come up to pretty much room temperature. It turns into butter much faster that way. When we do large amounts of cream, we would use our butter churn here. But today, because we want to demonstrate to anyone that is interested in making butter themselves, they do not need special equipment. You know, butter churn can be really expensive, especially from an antique store. Years ago when we checked out prices, it's probably been almost 10 years since we've looked at prices of butter churns, but they were running up in the neighborhood of $150. This particular one, my gifted, talented husband had been at an antique store about 20 years ago, and found the top. It had no handle, the paddles were off, and it had no jar. He brought it home and put the handle on it and fixed the paddles, and found a jar and gave it to me for an anniversary gift. So I really love this churn. It means a lot to me, the work and effort that he put into it. Anyone with a canning jar, a quart size is best, can put a pint of cream in, and it takes approximately 10 minutes or less to shake it into cream. My son is going to demonstrate for us just how easy it is to make butter. As you can see, he's shaking it just nice and easy. It doesn't have to be shaken hard. It can be shaken back and forth or up and down like he's doing. We won't videotape the whole time that he does this. Maybe we'll time-lapse it if we do. But the cream will get to a point, it'll get thick, and if you've ever made ice cream, you'll know the consistency I'm speaking of. But that's what it reminds us of, is it gets to almost an ice cream stage, and then within just seconds from that stage, it will start to lump up, and the buttermilk runs off. And you hear about the old people talking about when they used to do the butter, make the butter in the churns that had the paddle on it that went up and down, the crock churns, and they'd talk about the butter, you knew it was done when the buttermilk started to splash, and that's really technically what happens. You can see the milk separate off of the butter as it becomes lumpy. Alright, I should have showed how it looked as far as being consistency before we started, and I didn't. But I did have the jar in front of the camera. See, when we started, there was just a pint of liquid in here. And now as it's being shaken and the air expands, can you get that top off there, please? You can see it starts to fill up the jar. And once that hits the butter stage, that it drops back down. The air is out, the butter has formed in there, and the liquid separates off, so you lose the expansion of it again. Close to the point of butter. Hang on just a second there, Josiah. You can see it's starting to pull away. It's easier to see through the glass. It'll probably be another minute before it actually forms. Go ahead and start shaking, honey. One thing that when you start this, you don't want to stop, and you can stop for a few seconds or whatever here or there, but you don't want to, start shaking, spend about 10 minutes on or 5 minutes on it, and then walk away for 5 minutes. It just interferes with the process of it coming together. Yeah, this may just be a novelty of something you want to try. Let's see. Let me see that. Yeah, we're almost there. It's not quite. That's about the ice cream consistency I was speaking of. A lot of people don't want to do this because it does take time and forethought and work, and it is much easier just to go to your store and buy it. But it's a great, even if you don't want to do it regularly, just try it with your kids. Kids love this stuff. It's a great family time. You churn your butter, you can melt it for popcorn, you can make cookies with it. It helps create a memory, and that's what life is about, is creating memories with your family when it comes to stuff like this. If it's not something that you want to incorporate in your life, use it to make a memory. Okay, we're still not quite there, but see how now the cream is completely pulling away from the jar, and you can tell that the liquid's starting to pour off, so just within a matter of seconds is all it's going to take. Go ahead and start shaking back and forth. Shake it back and forth, honey. It's easier to see it on video, yeah. Okay, now stop. Look, see it's really changing consistency now. Keep going. Alright, we are there. As you can tell, the fat globulars there have formed together to make their butter. And there's the runoff. We'll pour it off. I'll use the milk portion of it, the watery cream, to cook with. So you pour off your cream, or your liquid from your butter. Now if I were going to use this to butter rolls with, or to put on popcorn, I would add some salt, but I'm actually going to use this to make some cookies, so I'm not going to bother with that right now. And I don't have a butter paddle, which is a necessity of some form to get the rest of the liquid off. Pour it into your bowl, and there's always more liquid hiding in there. So I take my utensil here. I really don't know what it's for. I've had it in my kitchen forever, and it works great for different things, and this is one of them. You just press, keep pressing, to get as much of that liquid out of there as possible. Cooking with it, if you're going to cook with it right away, depending on what you're making, you don't have to, work real hard at getting it all out. But if you're going to keep it put on bread, it's better to get all that you can off. Alright, so there is our butter. It's got a nice thick consistency. It's got a nice sour cream flavor to it. When I purchase butter, organic butter from the store, I have no problems leaving it out at room temperature for days on end. I know some people just shiver at that thought, but I've never had it sour on me. This type of butter, though, when using fresh cream, I do put it in our ice box. It seems to go bad a whole lot quicker. I don't know why, because organic butter or even regular butter really have no additives to it. This cream is pasteurized, so the only difference is this milk is not homogenized, but I can't imagine that would have anything to do with the shelf life of it. So if you do make butter from cream, keep that in mind. You might want to just be protective of it and keep it in the icebox or refrigerator. So that's our video on butter making. Hope you enjoyed it.